So we are going to rank who the Steelers should or who they shouldn't re-sign to extensions. We're going to go from a list of whether they shouldn't, I guess not shouldn't, but just rank them for most important or whether they're going to or not. Let's take a look at that. The first one off the list is Cam Heyward. Look, we all love Cam. I love Cam. He is the epitome of what a Pittsburgh Steeler is, but let's just call it what it is, man. He's coming off of an injury, a tough injury that he fought through last year. I mean, he played hurt. There's no doubt about it. He played hurt, came back quicker than expected, but he wasn't that effective. He's 35. He's making $16 million. I've been on record saying, look, if you're going to extend him, do it for 2 years, a total of $20 million, and that's it. Not a 1 cent more than $20 million bucks. If Cam's not willing to do that, then you just play out the contract, and that's just the way that it is. But at this point, yeah, I'm not sure that you extend Cam. I'm just not. If he comes back and he has a good year, we'll talk about it at the end of the year. But at this time, the importance to me, the answer would be no. Let's move on. James Daniels. James Daniels has already come out and said that the Steelers are not going to extend. They're in no contract talks. And I probably think that's right. Look, it's not that James Daniels isn't an average to good football player, because I believe that he is. However, we've seen the guard market over the last 3 to 5 years just explode. And look, James Daniels makes almost $9 million now. A 27-year-old veteran. Yeah, he's going to be able to command some dollars from some people. Those dollars shouldn't come from Pittsburgh. $16 to $20 million for a right guard. I'm sorry. That's a place where you can save some money. And I'm not saying, even if we don't have the replacement on the roster right now, which I believe we do, but even if we don't, you don't pay your right guard $16 to $20 million, especially when you've got 2 tackles that you drafted in the first round that are going to end up coming up for new contracts sooner rather than later. You probably are going to have to pay a quarterback. Yeah, and you're thinking about possibly going to get a wide receiver. James Daniels, again, I like him. Good player. Just not the guy that we need to be paying that kind of money to. Going to move on from that. No. Next on the list. Look, Naji Harris. I know people are like, come on, B. Look, they've already decided on Naji Harris. Well, have they? Yeah, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. But look, this is football, man. A lot can change. Jaylen Warren gets hurt. Naji goes for 1,400 yards. We're not extending him. We're not going to try to sign him again. We're just going to let that go. No. Look, there's still an opportunity for Naji Harris to be on this football team in the foreseeable future. Is it likely? No, probably not. But is it possible? Yes, and that's why I have him on this list, because there is still a possibility that Naji Harris could be the guy. Not to mention, let's just say Warren has a bad year. He gets more carries, and he's not capable of being the back. Are we sure we're ready to let Naji go? I don't think we are. So keep that in the back of your mind there. We'll come back to that here in just a second. Next on the list, there's a guy that nobody seems to be talking about is Dante Jackson. Look, we got him in the offseason in a trade for Deontay Johnson, traded him to Carolina. We get him in return. He's on the last year of his deal. There was a lot of talk that Carolina was ready to get rid of him, that they were going to cut him. They were trying to trade him. They were looking to get rid of him. Well, he's 28. He's better than what the Steelers had, or let's hope that he's better. Because, look, we could never find a second corner opposite Joey Porter Jr. last year. We just couldn't find that. And if Dante Jackson can come in and be competent, then we found him. Now, do we have to go out and pay the guy $20 million or anything? No. Make it make sense. Absolutely, though, can he be a guy that the Steelers are looking to re-sign? Yes, the Steelers are probably going to go and try to draft a corner in the first 2 rounds next season. Yeah, because they didn't do that this year. So, yes, they will probably try to do that. Having said all of that, yeah, it makes sense. If he comes out and has a good year, and look, OTAs and mini camps, again, without pads, but you didn't really hear his name. As a corner, it's a good thing. And you're not hearing their name, because usually if you're hearing their name, It's, oh man, he's running behind receivers. He's trailing everybody. Guys are making plays all over the top of him. You didn't hear that coming out of OTAs and minicamp. So if Dante Jackson comes out and has a solid season, I think that's a guy the Steelers got to look at. Next on the list, look, we just talked about the opposite of this is Jaylen Warren. We got to see if Jaylen Warren can be the guy. If he can take on the burden, if he gets the extra carries and he doesn't wear down near the end of games or at the end of the season, then yes, he has to be the guy. Now, first off, a lot of people are going to say, come on, B, they already told Naji they don't want to sign him. We got to have a running back. We might as well re-sign him. Well, again, that sounds good in theory, but at the end of the day, the guy's got to prove that he can handle the workload. Now, it's not going to be a full workload as long as both him and Naji are healthy. That's not going to be the case. But as we've seen, especially last year, Arthur Smith's offense, yeah, they use two running backs. They definitely do. And they use running backs to go out and run real wide receiver routes, out routes, comebacks. They can do those kinds of things. Jaylen Warren can do that. Naji Harris can't. We'll see. But to me, this would be the better signing, Jaylen Warren over Naji Harris. That's who I would sign first. Now, next on the list, Russell Wilson. We kind of covered it at the end of Gil's segment talking about betting being the comeback player of the year. Look, if Russell Wilson is going to be the quarterback that we think he's going to be, then yeah, I think we've got to re-sign this guy. The thing about Russell Wilson is their quarterbacks are playing longer. Yes, I get it that he's 36 years old, but quarterbacks are playing longer right now. And if quarterbacks are going to play as long as what they can play, especially the way that the rules are, then there's no reason not to have Russell Wilson out there. There's absolutely no reason that he can't play another 3 to 5 years. Is he the quarterback for the next decade? No, not saying that he is. But if he's playing well, do you just give up on that? I don't think you do. I really don't think you do. Right? We get a good Russell Wilson. He comes in and he plays well. Do you just say, okay, thanks for your services, we're going to move on? I don't think you do that, man. I really don't. I think you got to take a look at that, a 3 to 5 year. And yeah, that puts him in his 40s at the end of that. I understand that. But quarterbacks are doing that these days, and they're doing it with some effectiveness. Not to mention, Russell Wilson hasn't had some crazy injury history. That hasn't happened with him, with knees and elbows and shoulders. That hasn't been him. We've seen the Instagram videos of what he looks like and, how he's taking care of his body. So if he can come out and play well, that's a guy high on my re-sign list. It just is. Like I said, I still believe that if Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback of the future, he needs to come out and win the job now. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen. If Russell Wilson plays well, I want that guy to be my quarterback for at least the next 3 to 5 years. And on the caveat on that, if Fields can't beat out Russell Wilson now, who's to say he'd ever be able to beat him out in the future? We're trying to win. Look, we're fans. We want to win now. We don't want to say, let's wait around, 3 to 5 years and hope. No. Steelers got a top 5 defense right now. They have that. They had a top 6 scoring defense last year. So I think everything that's in the works, if Russell Wilson can play well, that can be the guy, like I said, for the next 3 to 5 years. And then the last person on this list, or should I say the most important signing, is Pat Freiermuth. I think that needs to get done before the end of the season, or before the beginning of the season, I should say. Maybe even before training camp. Get that thing done. The reason being is because we know that Arthur Smith's offense is going to use him. Look, the notion that Pat Freiermuth is injury prone, that's overblown. He missed 1 game his rookie year. He missed 1 game his second year. Now, last year, yeah, he got hurt with a hamstring. And people are going to say, well, he was supposed to come back. Look, hamstrings take a while. They just do, And so he got hurt. I understand that. But he's not injury prone. In the previous video that we talked about, make sure you guys go check that out, by the way. We were talking about Pat Freiermuth a lot in there. People kept saying, oh, he's injury prone. I'm like, no, he's not. He got hurt 1 year. It was a hamstring. And I understand that he was supposed to come back and then he didn't come back. He played in 12 games. There was a couple of games where he didn't do much, if anything at all. I understand that, especially that second Cincinnati game. but we blew Cincinnati out and we didn't need them. And they basically said, we're not going to let Pat Freiermuth beat you. Well, everybody else did. And that was the difference. So Pat Freiermuth, I think that's a guy that's got to get signed. I would rather it happen before the season even started, before training camp. Here in the next couple of weeks, get Pat Freiermuth done. So that's the list of extensions right there. We got a poll question here. Rank our soon-to-be free agents in the order they should be re-signed. Leave all those comments and leave your order in the comments section. So, yeah, what order? Rank our soon-to-be free agents in the order they should be re-signed.